Welcome to Capricorn season. It's said that Capricorn season brings deep thoughts about where your career, health, friendship, relationships, life, and just general things are headed. And I was kind of thinking that maybe that has something to do with the new year, because we start Capricorn season in one year and end it in the next year. So I feel like that kind of speaks into like the ambitious personality of Capricorn, which we're going to kind of get into. Mm-hmm. But we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but what's really interesting about doing these astrology videos is seeing how they actually affect your everyday life, or like just like little energies or like little things. It's just been interesting to see the different ways of the different zodiacs.
Totally.
But yeah, so let's jump in.
Let's do it. I'm going to start talking about our general things about Capricorn.
General things.
Yeah. Like the elements, stuff like that, the first little bits. So the Capricorn symbol itself is a mountain goat with a fish tail. So you can picture that. Maybe I'll put it in a picture somewhere so you can see it. Yeah, so, and it's also a earth symbol. When I was looking up what symbol Capricorn was, or like what element it was or whatever, like I knew it was earth, but then when they were like, oh, fish, I was like, wait.
Right? It's confusing when you start thinking of the symbols as the elements.
Yeah.
You're like, well, they must be the same and relate.
Yeah, like, and sometimes they really do, and then other times they really, I'm like, what's happening? Like, mountain goat makes sense for earth, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm picturing like a mountain goat mermaid, and you think of mermaids, they would be in the water. So what's happening?
A goat mermaid clearly would be in the water, obviously.
Yeah, so what's happening? Anyways, it's an earth symbol. That's the main point. And its ruler is Saturn. So there's 3 qualities of the various zodiac signs. They are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. They're also, I can't remember if I mentioned this already, Saturn is its ruling planet. Its stone is lapis lazuli.
Which is really pretty.
Which is really pretty.
Oh, maybe we should put
really
a photo in.
Also some photos of lapis from Steven Universe. Yeah, because she's my favorite. Anyways, the colors are brown and black, which kind of makes, I mean, it's like an earth symbol, so they kind of feel earthy to me. The greatest overall compatibility is a Taurus, which is an earth sign, I believe. I'm pretty sure Taurus is an earth sign. If it's not, I'm gonna shit. And then Cancer as well, which is a water sign.
Heck yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised from reading about Capricorns. I'm surprised that their match is Cancer, because Capricorn comes off as, and I just want to make a little disclaimer here. I can't think of a single person I know who's a Capricorn. So I don't have anything to base this off of.
Yeah.
But from what I read, it comes across that Capricorns are a little bit colder, like a little bit harsher, and Cancers are like so sensitive and like are like said to be like very like sensitive and feeling. So it was like very interesting to see like those very opposite things coming together.
Yeah. You know what I think it is I think that Capricorns are very like logical almost. So like not necessarily that like they don't have feelings, like they do, but
hey, you have feelings.
Yeah. But they are very, I think they do think of things in a very like logical way, and they're very like, these are facts. Sorry for the earthquake. These are the facts. And yeah, Cancer is pretty opposite, because Cancer is very emotional and ruled more by their emotions, whereas Capricorn is ruled more by logic. I think is definitely the difference. But I think that it does kind of like work in that sort of like opposites attract kind of thing.
Totally.
Because it's not like too opposite, you know?
Well, and I feel like if you're somebody who maybe is super emotional, it's nice to be around somebody who purely is in logic, because if you have two people who are really highly emotional, it just becomes a highly emotional mess.
Yeah.
But, well, not always. Things that happen, everything's the same. Anyway, yeah, so it's nice to have that balance of, like, I really understand that. Like, because my partner is very decisive, and I am so indecisive, and it's, like, to the point where it's, like, something that, like, really bothers me. Like, it's something that I, like, actively try to work on constantly, because it's so frustrating to try to make decisions, and you just can't.
Yeah.
And he's really decisive, so it, like, helps me to, like, make those decisions a lot faster. So I get that. I get that. Like, the matches are like other Capricorns, Taurus, Virgo, Scorpion, and Pisces, and the best compatibility would be a Taurus or a Cancer.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, I think it's kind of
so the internet
says the internet. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting when you do see the compatibilities, because it's, well, when I read Cosmo, they used to have it as like, here's your sex match and here's your love match kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember that.
I think it is kind of interesting the way that, like, some matches are, like I think a match with a Taurus, for instance, we haven't done our Taurus video, so I don't really know much about them. But Taurus is also an earth sign, so they're probably more similar, whereas now their match with Cancer is probably a completely different relationship, you know what I mean?
Very different, yeah.
Which is similar, like, when I think about Scorpio, because that's what I am, so that's what I think about all the time. Like, when I think Scorpio and Cancer, I always think, like, okay, well, this sounds like a really good match in the terms that would be, like, a good long-term partner. But then when I think Scorpio and Scorpio, which is the other match for Scorpio, I think more of, like, short-term, casual, like, fling kind of thing, because that
Banging.
would be, yeah. Because a Scorpio and a Scorpio is probably just thinking about sex all the time.
All they're thinking about it.
How do they get anything done? But yeah. So I think it is interesting when you think about, like, the compatibility, like, well, how different it would be this sign and this sign versus this sign and this sign.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other information we have, their day is Saturday. So, best day of the week.
For Saturdays. Yeah. Isn't all of our best day Saturday?
Probably.
I mean, unless you work that day.
Unless you work that day, in which case that sucks. Sorry. Sorry.
That sucks.
Yeah. And then their lucky numbers are 4, 8, 13. Wow. Cool. 22. And then the date range, most important, should have put that first, but who cares, is December 22nd to January 19th. So as Molly said, it's very much over the new year. So very much like the end of the year is very like reflective, and then moving into January, which is very, again, kind of reflective, but more of like how I want to like improve. Looking ahead. What am I going to do this year?
Using those reflections you just made to like look ahead to how your next year is going to look or whatever.
Exactly.
Because I feel like whether or not you make resolutions, because I think nowadays we're really, it's just not so big nowadays. I think it's just kind of like when people say it, you can't even accept, like people don't accept it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's pretty natural when the year starts to have like reflective thoughts and think ahead, even if you don't intend to. You just do, because it's like starting over a year. It's like it's just what people do.
Totally.
And if you don't, you're wrong.
And I think even like when we're talking about that, even if somebody around you says like, oh, my resolution is to go to the gym more, you kind of think like, do I want to go to the gym more?
No.
Why would I do that? But like, you kind of like think about these things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe other people are different, but I really think about things that people say to me.
I know we're putting out a lot of like general stuff, guys. Just don't worry about it. Just take it. It's entertainment.
These are our perspectives. This.
So. Is my opinion.
Yeah. Anyways, so I talked about the symbol and all of that. So now Molly's going to talk a little bit more about some qualities and the season in general.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm going to start off by talking about one of my favorite parts about the zodiac, which is the planets. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is the 6th planet, and it has a symbol of its own. The symbol of Saturn is depicted by a cross of matter over the soul. What the fuck does that mean?
Deep.
Hashtag deep. Anyway, so it indicates that the material nature of man reigns supreme over emotions. So the material nature of man reigns supreme over emotions.
So, man, these Capricorns are like really opposite. Like these Earth signs, I feel like are really opposite of like me as a sign. You know, like my signs. You know what I mean? Because they're very like they're talking about like
totally emotion, like an emotional planet with a logical sign. Whereas with the Scorpio video, we were talking about an emotional sign with a very logical planet. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how it seems like if you have a more emotional planet, you're gonna be more like logical in thinking, which is very interesting.
I just looked up the symbol, and I just want you to know that the symbol of Saturn looks very much like this astrology symbol for Capricorn, which is interesting.
It looks like an H.
It does look like an H.
We'll put it here. Anyway, okay, and I've heard or I saw that the Saturn can be called the planet of karma. I'm not really sure what that means, but I thought it was interesting. Like that could be like the energy that it's like giving off, some karmatic energy. And it's a masculine energy planet. It concerns itself with karma and lessons which past experiences might bring. So again, it's like that reflecting and to look ahead. So in Roman mythology, Saturn is the god of agriculture, founder of civilizations, and of social order and conformity. So, okay, I want to do like a whole video on this, but Saturn takes 29.5 years to orbit the sun, which means it spends about 2.5 years in each sign of the zodiac. So, like, because you know how the zodiacs are like the stars in the sky? So like Saturn spends like this time like 2.5 years hanging out in the constellation of Capricorn. So I kind of want to So I kind of want to do a video like about like the planets moving around the different zodiacs and like what that means for your zodiac. But yeah, so I just kind of thought I'd point that out because it only actually spends 2.5 years in its zodiac's area. So the traits of a Capricorn are ambitious, hardworking, and classy. Those are the top 3 traits I have for them. And that kind of relates to their cardinal sign. And it like, I think it really plays into the whole New Year thing. And like, I feel like that really kind of makes up that Capricorn personality of like wanting to get stuff done and looking ahead and trying to make like those decisions about what's coming ahead. Yeah.
I definitely think that with Capricorn, the other trait that I found was pessimistic, which like when you think of like pessimistic, I know a lot of people think of that as like a negative thing, but I think of it more of like a logical thing. Like I think that they do a lot of times focus on like reality and being like, this is the situation. I'm thinking of, I have a couple friends who are Capricorns, and I'm like kind of like thinking of them as we talk about it. And yeah, like I do think that they're very like I guess like pessimistic in the way that they like talk about like themselves and their like work and that kind of stuff, which makes sense because they're work focused. So because they're so work focused, they're pessimistic. When they talk about their work, they tend to talk about it like they don't give themselves enough credit, I think. So it's very often that like one of my friends, when she has her meetings with her team lead, even her team lead will tell her, like, you got to be more positive about yourself. Like, you're doing really well. But I don't think it's necessarily that she thinks that she's not doing well. She just thinks about the things that she can improve on more, I think.
Yeah, like because that they have that ambitious spirit, it's always about doing better.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're not doing better, that will, like, that's not the kind of progress you want to be on.
Exactly. Yeah, and, like, we have had that a lot where sometimes I think when we're working, sometimes I'll say things like, oh, like, what if we did this, right? Like, we can do this. And then she'll kind of be like, well, it's not going to make that kind of impact. And I'm like, well, it will, though.
But it could.
Like, what if we all did it together? So there's definitely...
What if I just make a cake full of smiles? And we can all eat it and just be friends again.
Like, it's kind of funny because, it's kind of interesting when we talk about, I think, the differences, because I think a lot of times people are like, well, if I use these vague qualities, they could apply to everyone, you know what I mean? But sometimes when I read things, like if I'm thinking about a Capricorn, I'm like, this isn't me at all.
Yeah.
Like, this is completely opposite of me. Like, yes, I would say that I am, like, hardworking in these things, but these aren't the things that define me, you know what I mean? And, like, when I look or think about like my Capricorn friends, like, these words do really define them. Like, they work multiple jobs. They always worry about, like, their appearance. Like, the classy one, like, I feel like they are the kind of people who will, like, dress up a lot more and, like, put that effort in without really thinking about it. Whereas, again, for me, it's more of something that I do have to think about. Like, that's not something that I just do. It's something that I would have to be like, well, I do want to look nice, so blah, blah, blah. But yeah, and yeah, like, they are definitely ambitious. They're like, I'm going to work multiple jobs. I'm going to save up this money, and then I'm going to, like, start a business or, like, whatever they want to do. I do definitely see those qualities in them. They're very, like... Here we go.
Yeah, I actually felt like I, like, learned so much about Capricorns and, like, the season and how it, like, kind of affects overall, which I thought was really interesting because, like I said, I don't have any Capricorns in my life, so I don't, like, have anything to relate it to, or if I do, I don't know that they are, so they're not that close to me. So, or
sorry if you're one of Molly's friends.
You're probably not. I don't have friends. It's fine. Kaylee, you're my only friend. Yeah, no, I definitely thought that was interesting to read about. Just because, like, yeah, like I said, I don't know if I know anybody. Oh my god, now I'm always saying it. Fuck.
I was sitting here like, Molly, you're so rude. Like,
shit.
She's rude. Yeah, but yeah, so we did think a lot of what that means as far as the season. So in terms of Capricorn season, like, it's New Year's, so you're probably going to spend time thinking of, like, resolutions and that kind of stuff anyways. But
or even if it's not resolutions, you're thinking about plans for your year or improving. Yeah, just being better.
Being better. Get better.
Get better.
This is the time to do it. Yeah, so it's definitely a time where, even just for us, like, we have just been like, all right, let's fucking work. Like, we're gonna work so hard, and we're so, like, ready to do the work, and this is the time to do the work, right?
And we're, like, laying out the plans and all of that.
Like, this is the ambitious time and the classy time, so maybe, like, dress up a little bit, feel good, you know?
Like us in our classy sweaters.
Yeah! This is a lot classier than the t-shirt I normally wear, so it's fine. But yeah, like, it's definitely a good time to do that. Like,
it's a good time to take advantage of the ambitious energy that is out there, because feeding off of, like, an ambitious energy, even if it's for a little bit, it's so worth it, because it'll just, like, propel you forward.
Yeah. I feel like we have to, like, ride the energy waves, you know?
Just ride the waves. Ride the energy waves with us, guys.
That's such, like, a...
hippie thing to say?
Yeah, hippie, stoner, me, just, like, fucking, like, mystical. Just, like, I'm just, like...
Just like the sky's blue, you know, and, like, clouds are fluffy. It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
Don't worry. Me and my, like...
We hope you've enjoyed this positive chat.
Yeah. But anyway, so, like, when you... But this is how we're kind of starting to think about, like, the energies of the different astrology seasons is sort of like, these are the energies that are going to be there, and then we kind of like pick up on those, and we're like, okay, let's like continue this, like we
capitalize on it.
Yeah, let's take let's take this feeling and see what way we can go with it, like what we can do, right?
We're really going with the flow, guys.
Yeah, we're just
we're
going.
Doing it.
Anyways, I think that's all we have to talk about.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching our holiday videos. Thanks for watching our Capricorn videos. We definitely plan on making more in the future. So let us know in the comments below if there's any specific astrology thing that you might want to hear about.
Yeah, like if you have anything that maybe is like we didn't mention, like we started talking about the matches and stuff like that. If there's anything that you're wondering about, like
maybe you date a Capricorn.
Yeah. Like you have questions, add us. Yeah. We might not know the answer, but we'll find it.
We will find it. We'll find it for you.
That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we're here for. So
experts.
Yeah. Let us know.
Let us know. Please subscribe below.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.